So in my main video, I talked about N mode, and I talked about the different drive modes, and they're customizable. So when you go to N mode, you can go to the circuit, you can pull up different gauges here, you can have a lap timer, how much you're pressing the brake, all that stuff. But if you want to go here and customize, you have custom 1, you have custom 2, and you can see where it says engine, steering, suspension, Sport Plus. Sport Plus is the highest. Okay, so you have the traction control systems you can turn off, stability control, you can adjust the intensity in which the vehicle will step in if you start spinning tires, that kind of thing. Now exhaust sounds, now it makes it louder, but I'm not sure if it's exhaust sound, so I don't know if this will, is it like a cutout? Will it actually give you improved flow at the exhaust, or is it just making it louder? It doesn't really say. It just says maximize the exhaust sound. So anyways, so the main thing right here is, because you don't want to be spinning tires if you're trying to race, you want to be able to go and not spin tires. The transmission, you want to shift fast and also holding it in the revving the engine at appropriate level for the maximum torque, depending on what speed and all that stuff you are. Suspension, depending on what kind of road you're on. If you're on a road that, you know, you're doing real tight turns and you really want the vehicle to stay as level as possible, you can adjust that. Steering, that's more preference. But it does help to have a little bit stiffer steering when you're doing a lot of cornering and stuff, so that way you're not accidentally overturning, that kind of thing. And of course the engine, you just want the maximum amount of power that they can put out. So Sport Plus says provides maximum engine response and acceleration, suitable for dynamic and racetrack driving. Okay, now it has this NGS, which is supposed to even somehow go higher than that, give it a little bit more, boost it a little bit more, and it seems to be fun to drive in. When you push that, it like revs the engine, like revs it all out, and gives you super response and all that stuff for about 20 seconds. Now N mode is another thing, apparently. So let's go ahead and put it in regular N mode right here. So in regular N mode, the exhaust is already in the Sport Plus because there's no change in the exhaust. When I put the Sport mode, so I drive around in Sport mode in the original video because I couldn't see any difference. So I didn't want to take a chance and have like stability control and things like that turned off while I'm driving around in traffic and stuff like that. So I drove around in Sport mode, which has the highest, you know, the highest amount that it says right here, maximum engine response and acceleration. But people point out that N mode is something special and something separate, and it's not Sport mode, it's not customs, these customs, it's something different. It's supposed to even put more horsepower than this. All right, so we're going to drive it in N mode, all right, and see if I can tell the difference, because I couldn't before, and that's why I was like, well, I'll just drive it in Sport mode, because it's the same thing. So now we have the 3 bars on the engine, steering, and suspension there, and which means the Sport Plus, and you know, so let's see what it's like in this, and once again, like I said before, I couldn't tell a difference, but we'll see if you can tell a difference in N mode. So we're in N mode. It has a little N right here, and let's go back out of this, and we'll see if you can tell a difference here. All right, so now we'll turn in mode off and we'll go to regular sport mode. Let me get back straight on the road again. All right, now we'll go back in mode. Now the tire did lose traction a little bit as I was making that turn. And some torque steer. It's holding the RPMs up even when I'm just driving at a steady speed here. So it's not something that is practical to drive in all the time, obviously. This is intended for track use, I guess. So let's go back to sport mode. Now let's go to N mode and push the NOS type button. All right, we're in sport mode and we're going to push the NOS type button. All right, there it went away. Now we're going to go in N mode again. NOS type button. Okay, so there you go. There's some comparisons between the N mode and the sport mode, and then adding the NOS type button, the NGS button. On top of that is comparison.